So of these five, which one should you pick? Now, one of the mistakes people make is that they go with the organization that's selling it. So let's say somebody goes like, "Oh, I like Apple the most out of all these companies, so I'm going to pick an Apple product. I like Apple." What the PMI says is you shouldn't do something like that. You have to base it on the organization's needs. So here are the recommendations from your textbook. Let's go a little deeper depending on the clients that we've got this semester. So typically for a nonprofit, the staffing requirements should be minimal. So the column on the right has the staffing requirements. So the lowest staffing requirements are typically for the software as a service. Okay, so you pay a subscription fee. All the maintenance and updates and everything else is handled somewhere else, by the company, and so there's very little work that the organization has to do on the IT side. So, which is why software as a service makes more sense. Now, sometimes some of these other ones might make more sense. Like, say, for example, if the nonprofit says, I don't want my data on the cloud, I need it, on my company's computers. So, in this case, instead of picking a database like Caspio or Airtable, we might have to go with something installed on the client's computers like Tableau or Microsoft Access database, right? So that's when you pick up packaged software. Sometimes the client has no budget, but has people who are like a little technically savvy. So in this case, we might want to go with open source. So this might take like a little technical skills on the client's part, but it'll bring the budget down to near zero. Right? Then, however, if the client wants something a little more complicated, we also need to do the accounting, the grant management, the donations, like several of these other things, compliance with federal regulations. So in this case, we might need a larger software. So this is when we start going into the enterprise resource planning. And sometimes the nonprofit is building something completely new, and this is one of its primary services that it's going to provide. So in this case, we might need to hire an IT service firm. This is going to be our most expensive option, but sometimes that's what the nonprofit wants.